Okay, right, so local man Mr. PSX here, and we're going to define some terms here with the gaming side. These are not going to be defined like you might think, so there's that. Some lead in before we begin. Movies are remastered, usually by scanning the elements and artificially working on those. I hate it when they remove the film grain, which should be there, not only because it's literally what makes the film image in the first place. Get digital if you want digital. Seriously, a product of its time. But that's not how it works in games, and I hate it when movie remastering process is compared to handling games. You cannot do that. An example. I've played the game I'm showing this image from, but I've also played the one which tries to imitate it. A friend of mine has that one. We played the portion which tries to imitate Crash 3 instead of doing any innovation. So it's basically the opposite of this. Internet likes to talk about both the original innovator and the later imitator as if they are the one and the same. They're really not if you actually think about it any longer than a few odd seconds. The point is, anyone who only has played the imitator can't say that they've played the innovator. I've played both in this case. Personally, I only get the original innovators. I really dislike the definitions people have given these terms. Re-release is probably the only one I agree with. Remaster, change assets, not the tech so much. I don't agree to that. These are really just partial remakes 99% of the time, as people understand these terms. Remake, make a thing from scratch which reminds them about the original more and less, and change contents plus sometimes add some content in whatever that is, or take content out whatever that is. Why the Pocket Station bit of Japanese Crash 3 wasn't in the remakester? How is that a remake when you think about it? Reimagining. A new way different take on something. Foreshadowing goes here. Reboot. Basically story of the week to people disguised as a new beginning if not a full origin story. Now you might be asking, Mr. PSX, how would you define them then? And that's what I'm here for. Enter my personal definitions, which really fit the words more than the general population usages you just heard. Think about my descriptions and see for yourself. I've also asked a friend of mine who shared a view I have, though the level of it likely is less than what I have here. Also, I hate how people and marketing use these things interchangeably, which confuses people and makes people misdefine these things. Original. The original thing that you all fall in love for, play it and then never play it again for 20 years, and then get the remakester thing if one appears, and feel nostalgic, yet your nostalgic feelings should be directed to the original, as you have previously interacted with that, and not the remakester, which is a new thing anyway, just imitating the original, which is new to everyone, not only to those people who have played the original it tries to imitate. Ha! So it never makes sense to me how people can reportedly feel nostalgic when playing a thing they've never played before for the first time, while they have played a completely different thing way earlier. And yes, you people who say remakesters allow people to get that game, no. It allows everyone to get the remakes, their imitation of said game, not the original. These are not one-to-one the same. They are never 100% one-to-one as far as I know. All this is why to get a proper nostalgia trip, you play the original, preferably with the same setup going as close as possible. I still have the same I've always had. Re-release. The original thing literally brought to market again, maybe wrapped with a thing that imitates the platform it was originally released for, the game data being unchanged, however. This is how it should happen 100% of the time. Saying this leads to more people getting to play this game would be more appropriate instead of people saying that with remakes, where it makes no goddamn sense, as with those they get a different product, unlike here, where the product would be literally that thing they talk about when they say this game. Cheats. These are always debugging features, and that's what they were created for anyway. Moving on. Remaster. This only happens when you don't change anything with anything tech-wise. Then you go to the original sources as much as they exist with audio and visuals, and then get higher quality copies of them to replace the originally used compressed assets. So they are literally the same otherwise, but now they are likely compressed a bit less to oblivion. It's somewhat like scanning a 24-track audio tape and then making a new release of something out of that while changing nothing. Basically the same process that originally was done, but the end result is potentially better. I see too many instances where is a game claiming to be a remaster but has new assets done from scratch, which really should make it just a partial remake as the general population understands these terms. Remake. This is largely misused, I feel, as nothing is usually remade, just that a new thing is made to imitate an older one. So actual remakes are rarely done, if ever. Think about it. Make a file in, let's say, Notepad. Type in pingas or something. Save it as pingas.txt or something. Now do it again. The exact same process. You now have remade it, so it's the same as before, just remade. Literally. You might argue games already do this, but no, they never aim to do the exact same thing again. They imitate the already existing thing, and the way it works tech-wise is quite different internally, which is why I always say remakesters aren't the same as the original and can't be regarded as this game, which it is not. This also leads us to reimagining. This is what I'd argue is what a remake generally is to people. It's a reimagining and an imitation of something which is the original thing. Think about it. You do something, you later think, this sucks. Then you start from scratch. You make a thing which imitates the original but isn't exactly that, and you didn't even plan for it to be exactly like the previous thing. Not exactly a remake due to that, but more like a reimagining, though this leads to an issue, and that is, what about stuff that uses certain elements but is its own thing with those, but some can say is a reimagining? Think like a game that has a name here, Remake, and it's something completely different. That I'd say is a newish thing, something like a freaking spin-off. Going back to reimagining actually being what people say a remake is, a friend of mine shares this view a bit, at least partially. I did ask and he said to me, in some cases what is called a remake is different so much that it basically is a reimagining. I just take that same idea a whole lot further. Reboot. Only when a story is started from the very beginning again. Origins basically retold. We can use this. This is one of the more useless forms of anything, as you can just have a story of the week with things. This shouldn't ever be needed with anything, really. Just have a story of the week instead, or make actually something new. Crazy idea, right? To finish this all, I don't get it. Why make a remakester of something only to follow it with a new thing? Why not just do that new thing from the get-go? What the hell it needs that remakester thing for? Or better yet, don't do those and re-release crap in a freaking emulation wrapper or something and make new crap instead while you're at it. Likely is more clear why I also always say no to remakesters and yes to originals and new experiences like sequels, which might as well would be the remakester of the original. This is especially true with sports games. The new year is basically a remakester of the last year, but still original at the same time. Is that a paradox? Make up more questions of your own and watch the next episode. Is local man Mr. PSX out of here? Goodbye sirs and all that jazzy stuff for nows.